there, so we're going to talk about creating content specifically for veterinarians because there's a lot of tools and resources out there for creating content, but to really focus down on what exactly is going to resonate with your audience, but also what's going to rank and what do you need in terms of quantity of content and quality of content. Like, does an infographic work better? Does a carousel of images work better? Does a long 40,000 word article or guide, does that work better? An infographic? There's just so much you could possibly do. So how do you kind of start that process? And specifically for vets, because it's a tough industry to create content for, because you want to really reach your audience with something they care about, which is their pets and animals, but at the same time you want to reach that local audience, because that's what's really going to drive the business essentially. So you got to find something that's already going to work for your business and for Google. So the tool that I use for this is SEMrush. I know we're kind of going to go back and forth with this tool, and a lot of the demos use this tool because it really is kind of that 360 tool for finding out kind of content gaps. But you got to be a pro user to really get the juice out of this tool. All right, so we're going to start with some real basic stuff. So I looked for veterinarians in the Woodlands, just picked a random area in northern Houston, and found a couple of guinea pigs for this particular experiment. All right, so we have Village Vet Woodlands. All right, so let's call that the company. Let's say that's the veterinarian that I'm working with, and this is their competitor. All right, again, just random ones. All right, so I'm going to take this site that I'm kind of working on, and we're going to plug it into SEMrush to see all the positions. So these are all the positions, all the keywords that this particular site is ranking for. Now keep in mind you can toggle between desktop and mobile. You can go back in time as well if you want to see like what performance looked like a couple of months ago. Things are getting better, worse, etc. You can also filter by brand, non-brand, blah, blah, blah. All right, so what I really care about here are pages. Pages, because what this is telling me with pages, it's showing me all the keywords that every page of the site ranks for. Right, so if I just do a quick toggle on this, it'll go low to high, and then it'll go high to low. All right, so what this tells me is that the home page is ranking for 183 keywords, and then everything else just kind of ranks. Right, our vet MD doctors, the doctors rank for a variety of keywords, names, different things like that, and then surgery FAQs, and then it just really drops down quite a bit. All right, and my guess is that these guys over at Panther Creek Clinic are probably going to have a pretty similar type situation here with Panther. Yeah, so same thing. Homepage ranking for the majority of the keywords and nothing else really ranking. So let's go back to this particular site. All right, so with these guys, we're going to look at the homepage to see what keywords that particular page is actually ranking for. All right, so we're going to plug in, just click into that, and then you'll get the list of all the keywords. So 183 keywords that the homepage ranks for. So here's the message that this is telling me, that Google finds this particular domain, or this particular page rather, strong enough to rank for these keywords. And a lot of these keywords are actually doing pretty good. They're the top 50, top 60 type results, maybe some a little bit lower, some actually quite a bit higher than that. But what it's saying is that Google found that this particular page, because of the links coming into it, because of its history, because of its overall authority, is strong enough to actually rank for these keywords, even though it's pretty unlikely that all of these keywords are actually going to be on the homepage. So what does this mean? It means you're already established yourself as a ranking entity into a pretty good kind of position, which is the top 50. So kind of all that hard work to even get on Google's radar and to get to the kind of holy grail of placements, the top 50, is already been done. Now it's a matter of telling Google that, oh yeah, by the way, we actually have a specific page about this content. All right, so now you'll have to rule out a couple of things like name, address, phone, like NAP data, things like that. You probably don't want to create a page for that specifically. It's probably in your about or your contact pages. But there could be some things in here that, could be very valuable. Texas vets for pets, things like that. You may want to go into more detail with some of these, like, let's see, guinea pig vet Houston. So that could be a page. That could be how to take care of your guinea pig, and maybe there's a page that talks about Houston metro area, the areas where we serve, and maybe you only serve the Woodlands. That's fine. On the map, you just show areas we serve, the Woodlands. That's it. That's what we serve. But at least you rank for this term because it's someone that's still looking for the broader Houston area, and this could be a potential customer for you. The nice thing about pets is that people own typically multiple pets, especially when they get into kind of more exotic pets like this. They tend to have a dog and a cat. So repeat business for the business. So the idea here is, this is a tough list because as you go through this, you see a lot of branded keywords. You see like things like vet the. Yeah, it's not something you're going to create content for. Vet a. So you rule those out. So the easiest thing is probably to go up here and when you go into the advanced filters is to do something like exclude anything that has village in it because the site's ranking for a bunch of village stuff. And then maybe we rule out something like locations even, because you could create specific location pages. I know we just talked about the Houston area, but when we get more specific, you don't want to have something for like every single neighborhood. That it just won't work. I don't think it's something that's going to get penalized, even though it's been abused in the past by creating like these geo-specific landing pages with zip code and city information just to rank for local queries. But it's something that's just going to be devalued. It's not going to work that well. So what I'm looking for, though, is terms like how to take care of my dog, how to take care of my pet. What does it mean when your pet has, green or red or whatever, pink X? I mean, you fill in the space. Those are the kind of keywords that I want to know, especially if the homepage is ranking for that, because Google, again, this is saying that this page is strong enough to rank. So that's the general idea here. Now, here we're not finding anything that's too great here, because woodlands is also another kind of strong filter here. We may want to just do another exclusion here and block out anything with woodlands. And then see if this filters down to something a little bit more sustainable. But when you get to the point where you're just not finding that this is really giving you a lot of content ideas, then it's really good to go into the competitors and then do the same thing. And then plug them into the tool and look at their homepage and see how their homepage in particular is ranking. Again, that's pages, and then you go into the homepage keywords and click in the URL, and then it populates all the keywords here. You can see. So again, you'd have to rule out things like Panther Creek, Houston, Woodlands probably, and just see this. Now this is a little bit tricky because Google is not ranking your site for these keywords, it's ranking your competitor site, but it does rank a competing site. So it is putting a actual private veterinary practice in the top search results, especially if you filter these by the top positions. It's putting one of your direct competitors at the top, not Wikipedia, not YouTube, not any other like large like PetSmart, or if it's a major kind of retail property for pets. It's putting local sites first. So your chances of competing and ranking in those top positions are very strong if your direct competitors are already there. All right, now there's one more thing here that's valuable, and that's to look at the positions themselves and do a little bit of filtering here. We have a couple of these filters. But we need to go back to our original site because it's filtering out things for a competing site. So let's just wait for this to populate for a second. All right, so when we get to our keyword list, again, the idea here is to go into positions and start to filter and then look for things that are in positions 11 to 20. All right, so the interesting thing about this is that these are keywords, again, that meet our filter here, where we're already ranking in the top 20 just on the second page. So these are keywords that we call striking distance. They're on the second page of search results. They're super close to being on the first page, and the difference in terms of clicks, volume, impressions, everything is dramatic from going from page 2 to page 1. I mean, 60, 70, sometimes even 80% increases in the number of impressions and clicks that you can get by just doing that one page jump over. So, but the idea with this is that these keywords may just need a little bit of boost. So what about creating another page of content for this? And again, this is a pretty rough list to kind of work with on this case because it doesn't give you a whole bunch. There's not a whole lot of keywords. We'll probably have to expand this out a little bit more. But the idea is when you go into positions 11 to 20, the idea with this is that you find keywords that you're on the second page for, and then you create an additional page about that particular topic. So if we're ranking for something like, pet medicine FAQs, or pet medicine tips, or dog medicine, how to give dog medication, something like that. All right, we're already in the top 20 for that particular phrase. Let's just assume this. We're in the top 20 for that particular phrase, how to give your pet, how to give your dog medicine. But we're not on the first page. So how do we get that extra boost to that first page? Well, we show Google that we're not just one page around that topic, we're 2 pages around that topic. So maybe we do something that's how to give your your dog medicine by dog type. And we list out the top 50 or 100 or 25, whatever, breeds of dogs and how medicine is different. Or maybe it's different by size or by weight. And just do a little bit of research and we expand out. So we do one article, which is our main one, which is in the top 20 already, which is how to give our dog medicine. And then we do another article, which is how to give our, how to determine how would you say this? giving medication to your dog by dog breed or by dog type or by dog weight, something like that. Something that makes sense, that could be valuable for the user, that's kind of playing off that other page. Link the two together, and now you've created a relationship, a bit of a network of content, and that generally is enough to jump up to the first page. Now, what about 21 to 50? 2 to 3 pages. Now, if it's a really competitive keyword, it could be hundreds of other pages. But the general rule of thumb here is 1 or 2 pages for 11 to 20, 2 to 3 pages for 21 to 50, maybe up to 4 or 5 depending on how competitive it is, and then 51 to 100, looking at dozens of other pages in a much bigger map. Now, what can also influence this is that if you're only about a certain topic, if you're just about chicken tamale recipes, that's your entire domain, you're trying to rank for other chicken tamale recipes in these lower positions, you're probably not going to need you're not going to need a whole lot of other content because you're already thematically concrete, an authority in that topic. I mean, that's what your site is entirely about. And the reason you're creating these network kind of mapping is to give Google an idea that you're not just a site about X. You're kind of a site about X, but you're also these sections that are strong about these topics. And you're creating these contents and linking them together. And that's essentially showing that you are a section about that. You're strong, you're thematically relevant for those topics. All right, so enjoy, play around with this. I think you'll find a lot of really interesting information. That's it. Cheers.